A warm welcome to each and everyone present today. This is the second episode of our advisory webinar for 20C quarterly update. We covered the core HR part yesterday. In this new segment of Evosys Live, we would like to empower you for the next update. This is with the revamped AMS service of Evosys, which has been classified as Application Enhancement Services. And the purpose is to provide you, to help you realize the true potential of Oracle Cloud transformation, what you have invested in. This is inspired by our organization value-based delivery theme to provide you the value on each and every transactions which we do as a true partnership arrangement. Quickly checking the house rule of the day, we encourage you to use the question chat window of the GoToWebinar, which you can see on to the right hand side of your window, and ask anytime any question, whatever you have it during the session. There is a team along with the speaker who will be responding to that question, and if there are any unanswered question considering the time, we will be answering that over the email. We want to make this session interactive, so there are certain polls which we have put forward inside it, which are completely anonymous. So we encourage you to participate in this. In case either of your colleagues are not able to join this one, and would you like to take some notes after the session, so we're going to share the presentation and session recording back to you over your email. Having said that, let's crack on for the agenda. Today with you, this is Vikas Surani. I am managing the global pre-sales for Evosys from last 10 years. And personally, I'm passionate about driving the digital transformation and the new upcomings which comes into the Oracle Cloud. I'll be your host of the day. And along with us, we have speaker Harsh Tulsyan. With him, I guess many of you would have already interacting with regards to the activities of your managed services. He's a senior principal consultant for the Oracle Financials and the customer advocate to help you realize the value with Evosys from more than 9 years. Agenda is pretty simple, as you might have seen over the email or the invitees which you have shared across. We'll have a quickly catch up with regards to the approach. How do we see Oracle updates and what value it can bring to your organization? Followed by the analysis, which is quite important to understand because this is not one-time job. Every quarter you get this, and how we can leverage. What are the benefits? What are the good features which we can have it, and we can get a quick win for our business. Followed by it, we will take a glimpse of next generation cloud managed service of Evosys and share some of the workings which we are doing, which will be shortly coming to you also on a one-to-one basis, which we feel would be value addition to the services which you are providing. And we'll do a closing note along with the Q&A as per the time which we have remaining after completing the session. Our approach to the update is a 4-step approach. The first one is about to analyze, evaluate the new features, and prioritize what you should go for it and what are the things we should avoid at this point of time. Second is you get together along with the business and the IT team to collaborate and see the features which are being identified, how to go about that particular aspect. Once that has been done, you have to thoroughly test it before we move to the production part. So that is one of the key aspect of the updates. That is the third step. And once this has been done, we do a launch, which is the production part, and we start making use of that features and leverage overall idea of it. For the purpose of today's session, we are going to take the first part, which is analysis and providing our advisory with regards to the new features, so that we can do rest of the 3 steps in a proper way. Now, depending upon the service which you've chosen from Evosys or you might be taking, there could be a situation where we together are doing 4 steps together, or you might not be opting for the other, let's say, features or services which are rest of the 3. In case if you'd like to opt for the services, you may speak with your project manager, and we can share our thoughts how we can leverage this together and what value we can bring on the table. Having said that, there are a lot of good things which are coming in this session. So what we have done is we have created a standard structure which will help you to easily understand the new feature. So at the header of each slide, you will see the new feature which have been introduced by Oracle in 20C. There would be a brief of this new feature, so that at least you get a second level of understanding what is the this feature all about. More importantly, what are the business benefits? What is that? What are the key takeaways for you for this particular feature? And this is something which has been loved by all the people with whom I've been speaking with, the impact analysis. What is the impact if I go for this particular feature? And this has been categorized into 4 ways. So the first one is about the impact. Harsh, if you can just click next, I'm not able to do from my screen.
Thank you, Vikas, for the great introduction. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location. Today we'll going to discuss on the 20C features on financials. So there are very new and enhanced features coming up in 20C, which we'll be discussing in next 30 to 40 odd minutes. So going to the statistics and discussing about the new features, I would like to know about all the entire audience, that what are their role. So what I'll do is I'll quickly launch one poll question just to know that about our audience. So whether they are from finance or the HR, IT. So it would be great if everyone can vote. So I can see we had received almost around 75% vote. So I'll close it down and then I'll just share the result. Fine. So we can see like almost 64% were from the finance team and 24% IT team. So definitely we all are going hand in hand when it comes to the configuration and checking the new functionality and testing by the finance functional team. So let me show you certain statistics with this new features. So as an overall, we have 27 new financial 20C new features. So I bifurcated into 2 aspects. One is called as quick win. So quick win is where we don't have to do much configuration. We don't have to do, or it's a minimal configuration or a no configuration at all. And it's very easy to configure. So very easy to use that new feature. And rest are like the configurations are on a higher side and it requires time for testing as well. So we can see like out of 27, 20 are the quick win and the blue one is the default. So default is basically it's enabled by default. We don't have to opt in. Whereas the orange one is the opt-in one, which we need to opt in to use this new feature. Now what I did is I bifurcated the entire 20C new features into 9 particular topics or an area. So which comprises of general ledger, budgets, payables, receivables, finance collection, then expenses, cash management, fixed assets, and we'll talk about a smaller topic, subledger accounting and OTBI. So let me start with the GL one. So in case of general ledger, this particular feature is very much beneficial for the budget manager and who are actually using PBCS. So earlier what used to happen is that whenever we are reducing the budget to 0, we are passing it as a null value. So if the null value being passed, it does not make it to 0 in our Oracle general ledger. But with this new feature, which comes as a clearing option, so if we do a clearing option, then we can basically send the value of revised budget to 0 in general ledger. So we have two options. We can do it at a dimension level, and another is dimension with the member values as well. So both options are there. So definitely it reduce the reconciliation error, and it will maintain the accuracy. I'll move it to the next one. So now I'll talk about budget. So in case of budget, there is a new feature comes up where transactions can be controlled based on our budget year. So let's say if we had created a transaction and our budget year is only 2019, 2020, and now we are creating any transaction in 2021, then there is an option that if budget is not defined or not set for that particular chart of account segment value, then we can get an error called as no chart of account control budget. So basically what it does is it helps to does not allow to continue with transaction when no control budget is impacted. So for our expense account, so let's say we had set up a 20 control budgets for 20 control accounts, and we had created a new account 21, which is an expense account, and we had not created a budget for it. So if we are creating a transaction for the 21st account, this will give me an error message that the budget has not been set up for this expense account. So for this, a feature needs to be enabled. So this is again as per the business need, the configuration need to be required. Then this is a good feature where we need to maintain the hierarchy between our budgetary control as well as the GL. So we can maintain the hierarchy, and now instead of running the two requests for maintaining the budget hierarchy, we can simply run account hierarchy process. So what does account hierarchy process will do after 20C implementation? It will maintain the hierarchy for both general ledger and budgetary control. So we don't need to run refresh tree of budgetary control or add reporting tree to budgetary control balance queue. So this would be no more required, and thus during implementation it would be beneficial, or whenever we are changing any hierarchy, simply we need to run the maintain account hierarchy process. Next, I'll move it to this small feature which talks about the diagnostic report. So we can have a diagnostic report for whatever opt-in feature or a history of changes we had done with relate to budgetary control. So the report would look like this. So this will give me a report output which will say that the configurable budget control override is enabled, whether it is not enabled, request spend authorization with budgetary control is enabled. So this opt-in feature report would be available. So this would be definitely helpful for the auditor, who can just simply run this report, diagnostic report, and can identify that whether these features are enabled or not. Now I'll move to the payables. So in case of payables, this is specifically for US clients. For the report 1099, which is for our internal revenue services. So now what happens is for report 1099, there is just a slight change in the layout. So there is no change in the process of generating this report, but there is a slight change in the layout where the non-employee compensation would be reported in box 7. So this is just a slight change based on the latest US Internal Revenue Service. Then next is about reporting the foreign currency payment in the same report, which is 1099 MISC and 1099 NEC. So in both now we can also report the foreign currency payments. So basically if the ledger currency is US dollar, then foreign currency payments are reported based on the accounted amount. But if our ledger currency is other than US dollar, then this report will convert that particular foreign currency amount into USD. So that feature is now available. So conversion from the foreign currency. Then next relate to the payments. So in case of payment, this is a very important feature for the security part. So now Oracle had also bringing the more security in terms of payment for encryption. So earlier there was no option to enter the key expiration date, hashing algorithm, key size. So now they had added more fields in order to have more security. So more security would be able to identify based on adding these new fields. So now I'll move to accounts receivable. So before moving to the next topic, we just need to check whether we have any question.
Sure, Harsh. The questions, I guess, are being answered. So you may want to go to the next part, and then probably we can take the open questions after that.
Right. So what I'll do is quickly launch another poll which talks about which needs to know that whether the attendees businesses at the implemented accounts receivable, are they using accounts collection. So I'd launched one poll. So it would be great if the attendees can vote. So I can see we have almost around 70% vote. So almost 50% are having accounts receivables and advance collection both. So that's great, and I'll focus on both the topics. So now in case of accounts receivable, this is a new feature. It was due to come in 20B, but due to some technical glitches, it came in 20C. So now what happens is when we create a manual AR invoices, the receipt method does not default. But now after 20C, this feature has came up that the receipt method can be defaulted. So what we need to do is we just need to set it at the customer account or at site level as primary. And then if we create a manual invoice, automatically this receipt method would be defaulted. Now this is applicable for joint venture organization. So whoever is using a joint venture management application, this would be applicable for them. So now joint venture management application has been enhanced further, and it will give more benefit and it will integrate with receivable module as well. So I'll just quickly highlight that it will create and billing. You can also print invoices. Then also billing management features are available. So bill management is basically giving an access to customer itself, and then they can view it. So the best part is that now we can generate invoices and receivable automatically for the bill generated in joint venture management, which was earlier not there pre 20C. Now view multi-fund accounting. So this is for those customers who are actually using multi-fund accounting. So just to highlight, multi-fund accounting is where at invoices level we are trying to record more than one receivable account. So for those customers, multi-fund accounting would be beneficial. And now for multi-fund accounting, we have an option of aging, as well as in the general ledger reconciliation report, that information would be available for the in detail. So now I'll move to a collections. So in collections, we all know that we are sending a dunning letter to customer, but now there is a new feature called as pre-delinquent. So dunning letter usually we used to send it after the invoices are due, but now there is also an options where we can send before it is going to be due. So that it is called as a pre-delinquent. So for that, a minor configuration would be needed. That you can see that if we want to set sending a soft dunning letter 20 days before it becomes due, or 10 days before it becomes due, so that is now available. So this would be definitely helpful to the retail business or to the businesses where collection is the most is the most criteria, and we want to reduce our collection days. So we can send a pre-notification to customer that your invoices are going to be due in 5 or 10 days, so they can be pay it on time. Then this feature is like configurable collection bankruptcy workflow. So in collection module, there is a feature of creating a bankruptcy for any customer who had declared that they are bankrupt. So collector have an option that they can raise a bankruptcy request for that customer. So when the request been raised, the notification was predefined, but now we have an option that we can modify that notification template. So this cover advanced collection. So I'll just pause and I'll just check, do we have any question?
Yes, Harsh, we had one question, but I guess it's good if we can also check over here. One of the aspect which you referred about the budgetary part, so that is applicable for the PBCS, or is it something different? So the question is this budgetary control section referring to or relevant to PBCS, or is it something different? This is the question from Saying Lu.
Yeah, so this budgetary control section, so with relate to PBCS, I highlighted it in the general ledger, but this budgetary control section is applicable to Oracle Cloud and not PBCS.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's okay.
Any
We may
other?
continue, please.
Yeah. So I'll quickly launch another poll just to know that is business using expense module? Because in 20C we had received a lot of new feature in expenses, and these expenses have so many new features which comprise even artificial intelligence. So I can see we had received 56% vote. Okay, now it's 70. So I'll just share the result. So yes, that's good that more than 50% of the attendees are using expense module. So let us discuss what are the new features that have came up in expenses. So this is a very good feature of creating an expense item directly from email. So most of us would be aware that we have an Oracle imaging functionality for payable invoices. Similarly, now in 20C, we will have the similar functionality where you simply email your receipt and your expense would be created. So an email ID would be shared with all the business users, and then expense would be created. So you just need to scan your receipt and send it to an email ID. And once you send it, you will receive an email confirmation. If you try to send it twice with the same expenses, you will also get a response that it's a duplicate expense which already exists. So those kind of digital assistance is also there in this new feature. Next is in Android application, we have a new feature where you can extract your receipt image. So basically what you can do is you can capture your expense detail from the receipt image in the Android application. So currently it is not available in iOS, but it is available in Android. So employees can enter their expenses by just simply scanning the receipt using that application. So the similar functionality, just the difference is at first level we are getting an email ID, and in the second level we are just scanning through an application. Then this is with relate to our corporate card. So now if we need to test the connection between the corporate card issuer and Oracle Cloud, then we have a test connection button now enabled, which will also give a clear error message that if there is a failure in the connection. So this is an advanced feature which has been added with relate to corporate card and its the corporate card issuer. The next is like how to manage the corporate card transaction for inactive employees. So in many cases, what happens is we ended the employee and then we notice that there are certain corporate card expenses that needs to be recorded. So now we have a new feature we called as grace period. So we can record the grace period. It is modifiable. So let's say we kept it 15 days. So after the termination date, within 15 days, we can create or we can process that inactive employees corporate card expense. Now we'll talk about the cash advances. So in expense module, the cash advance feature has been enhanced since almost from 28, 20B and now 20C. So the feature has been enhanced in such a way that now you can also request a foreign currency cash advances, and the payment would also be done for the foreign currency. Now, the artificial intelligence, which I highlighted. So we have a new feature called as Oracle Digital Assistant. So this is basically not a new feature, rather it's a tool where you will get a particular discussion, or you can say that it is like a bot which will, when you say to create an expense report, automatically that bot will be creating an expense report for you. So this is called as Oracle Digital Assistant for expenses. In this expenses, you will also get a lot of notification which require your attention. So like, let me show you certain screenshot. So earlier what used to happen is that once you create it, it is available in the work area, but it does not show you the message something like this. So if you can see, like it says, looks like some of your expenses need attention, and it will give you in your home page. So cash reimbursement on the way, requires your submission. So you had created your expenses but it requires your submission. So in this way, definitely it would benefit it. Now we need to understand like whether Oracle Digital Assistant, definitely a license would be required. So currently Oracle had not given that information yet, that what would be the license cost and how it would be coming up and what major configuration would be needed. But the good part is that this kind of functionality is now available for expenses, and the businesses where we have more number of employees and we are spending much time on recording, processing expenses, employees are having a tough time recording all the expenses, then definitely these kind of new features in expenses module will help the business. So I'll just quickly pause and just check, do we have any question?
Yes, Harsh, we got quite a couple of interesting questions. One is with regards to the expense part, what you're referring. So in case of inactive employee, what happens for the reimbursement? How will it happen?
Yeah, so as I mentioned that we have a grace period, we need to record the grace period, let's say 15 days. So definitely the employee bank account is already there. So once you create an expenses, that would be able to process and the payment can be done to that particular employee bank account. So all the related information of that employee with relate to processing expenses would be enabled because of that grace period setup.
Thank you. Second question is, if there is a foreign currency cash advance, then how we will receive the payment or how we will record the same?
Yeah, so in case of foreign currency advances, what will happen is the invoices would be created in that specific currency, and the payment also to the employee can be done in that foreign currency. So earlier, what it used to do is it converted into the ledger currency, and it doesn't allow us to create an invoices in foreign currency. So now cash advances, a foreign currency request can be raised, approved, and invoices are in foreign currency, and payment can be done in foreign currency to the employee.
Thank you, Harsh. And I would like to take the next question. So it asks that whether this digital assistant, is it only available for the expense? So as we see the roadmap of Oracle, there are almost all the SaaS application which covers the financials, procurement, human capital, customer experience. Everywhere you are going to see some or the other cutting edge technology, and especially the digital voice assistant part, where even the Gartner report says that majority of the transactions which are self-service, which have been done right now from your laptop or from your mobile devices, will go away either via chatbot or digital voice assistant. So these are the leveraging point which Oracle is heavily working on, and there are a lot of investments which are going on here. So you will see a lot of new features coming into your place, and we'll be sharing our take with regards to that, how we can leverage that part as far as your business is concerned. Thank you for all the questions, and Harsh, you may please continue for the next section.
Yeah. So next we'll move to the cash management. So in case of cash management, there are few short new features. So now we can exclude the reversal journal entries from bank statement reconciliation. So let's say that we had created a cash account journal entry and we had reversed that as well. In 20 till 20B, we used to see both the lines in cash management for reconciliation. So just to avoid that, now we have a new feature where we can exclude this, and we will not see those reversal line and the original line for the purpose of reconciliation. Next is like reconciling the zero amount system transaction. So what used to happen is that if let's say we are making a zero payment, so the reconciliation were not available for that zero payment, and we used to need to create a dummy bank statement to reconcile that zero amount statement line. But now with this new feature, you can automatically or manually reconcile the zero amount system without creating a new dummy bank account or dummy bank statement. So this is applicable mainly for where we have an outstanding invoices and even credit memo, and we want to set it off. So reconcile using that same bank account rather than creating a dummy bank account or a dummy bank statement. In certain businesses, we do not create that dummy bank statement, but what happens is there are lines generated in the bank statement as well. So to knock off, reconcile those two bank statement lines, this feature can be used, and this is where minimal configuration is needed. So this feature can be used to reconcile the zero amount system transaction. Now I'll move to fixed asset. So this is specifically for UK government clients. Now what happens is we can do a revaluation. So based for on UK government. So revaluation they are doing based on price indexes. So which were earlier not there in 20B feature. So for all our existing UK government client, this might be beneficial. Where we want to do a revaluation based on price index, which is published by the UK government. So that can be done using this new feature. The only drawback is over here is this feature can be only used for new asset book created. So the existing asset book which we have, in that we cannot have this new feature. We have to create a new asset book. So in case if we want to use this indexing feature, then what we need to do is that we need to create a new asset book, and we need to retire from the existing asset book and need to create an addition in the new asset book, and then we can use the feature for our existing customers. And for new customer, definitely if the asset books are not there, we can simply create a new asset book and can enable the revaluation based on the price indexing. Then as you know, like in asset, we have an asset lease feature. So this is specifically for those leases where we are converting our operating leases into finance leases. So in this new feature, we are also getting an option where we can generate a lease payment for a specific invoice date range. So you need to select the date range and the invoices would be created based on this date range. Next is when we are revaluing a reserved asset, which are fully reserved, and we do not want to extend the asset life. So earlier we have to extend the asset life and we have to then reevaluate. But now there is a new feature where we can just check one checkbox. So over here we can just one checkbox where revalue the fully reserved asset. So that can be done, and we don't have to extend the asset life. Next is the new feature called as lease accounting. So as we know, like a property application where lease accounting is required, which with relate to IFRS 16. So now over here there is a new feature where we will get multiple information overview tab, asset tab, and payment tab. So using this information, we can record our property information. So right now we do not have any property module. So this particular new feature can record the property information like the equipment contract or the property contract information like tenancy dates, location. So till now these informations were not available, but with this new feature it is available, and definitely it would help with also the IFRS 16 and ASC 842 standard. So for those who were recording the property in directly payables module, they can now use the lease accounting new property and equipment leases feature. So now I'll move to the smaller topics. So with relate to subledger accounting, in subledger accounting, general ledger journal work area, we can select the manage accounting error task. And over there, we have an option where we can identify what are the exceptions for the subledger, and we can narrow down for our period closure issues. So we can reduce the issues directly checking all the errors in the general ledger work area. Then this is related to the OTBI. So we all know that in case of OTBI, we have a deep link where we can directly drill down from OTBI reports to our system. So now the drill down has been enabled for expense reports. So whatever expense report, OTBI reports we are creating, we can drill down directly from the OTBI report to the system expense report. And similarly, with relate to receivables, we have a customer UI. So we can drill down to customer details, account details, and site detail. So this is an enhancement in OTBI drill down. Then there are some known issues and bugs with relate to 20C. So the known issues are that we cannot launch reporting studio from the tool menu. It is giving an error. So the workaround is currently is that we need to run it. We need to launch it from the Windows program, and we need to log in from there. So this is started from 20B and it is still there in 20C as well. This is for third party merge account, which will not allow to transfer balance to the new third party because the process goes into error. So in this case, there is one setup needs to be changed under manage subledger accounting option, where we need to keep it as none, and then it will work. And the last one is in the review budget entries. After upgrade, all our personalization would be lost. So we need to take care that in review budget entries and budget entry detail page, we need to recreate the personalization. So this is just one pointer which we need to take care. So once we upgrade it to 20C on test, we can check the review budget entry and budget entry detail page. So I'll just take a pause and just take, do we have any question?
Harsh, all the questions are being answered by Bhargavi, and so we have the answer and which have been already shared with the team. So we may go to the next one.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Over to you, Vikas.
Thank you, Harsh, and I feel that a majority of the things which have been coming into 20C will help you to get things better for your business, and some of the problems which were there would get resolved. Now, when we come to the cloud, it's a funny thing. We were having a discussion that when we were on an on-premises system like Oracle e-Business Suite or let's say SAP ECC, we used to do upgrade every 5 years. And now we are sitting in a cloud world where the updates are coming. So the upgrade has become update and it is coming quite frequently, which is in per quarter. So I would like to understand from you, how do you see this Oracle quarter update? Is it something overhead to you of your day in, day out working part? So do you think it's an overhead? Or do you really see it's bringing a lot of value addition to your business and to your work which you are doing? It may be resolving some of the problems which you might have. It could be the enhancement of something which was not available in past are being added. Like a couple of points which Harsh was referring with regards to a joint venture. That is something which is available in another ERP on-premises system, but that is the addition which is coming into the cloud for the multi-country business. We feel these are some of the key initiatives which would be helpful for you. I can see around more than 50% of the responses are being voted over here. I'll wait for a couple of seconds. I can see the numbers are rising faster. So if you can just vote for it, it would help us to understand how do you see that. And then probably we can also suggest what are the ways where you can shift from, let's say if it is like an overhead to an value addition activity. So that is something which you would like to do it. I'll close the window with this. And quickly I will share the results to you so that we know that how are we feeling inside the room. Yesterday when we took the same question, the ratio was 30 to 70. So 30% of the people felt it is an overhead and 70% felt is in value addition. From the finance, it is slightly moving to overhead. So we see more than 60% feeling as a value addition and 38% overhead. I'm sure there are your personal reasons. How do you feel this is an overhead and value addition? So that will be a quantitative feedback form which would be circulated post this session to you. So if you can send us your thought process on that, we may also help you understand that how we can move from the overhead activity to the value addition. Thank you for sharing your information. With that, we completed the first part, which is the analysis part. And as I say, depending upon the services which you are taking from us, you may be opting for the rest of the services from us, or you may want to opt some of the services the way it can be helpful for your business. Please have a chat with your project manager. They would help you to get forward for the rest of the services. Now, we are living in a world of cloud, and it's a fast changing world. So once we go to the cloud, we do the continuous innovation over there. And we are also revamping our services when it comes to the managed services. As I said before, the brand itself is an application enhancement services. So instead of just managing the things, we think we would be taking a partnership role and we'll help you to enhance of the things with regard to the system, processes, and the business what you do to help you to realize the true potential of cloud transformation, which is not to keep the lights on. So not to only solve the problems which you share us, but proactively suggesting you, these are the area which you should focus on so that you get better value out of your investments. Second, which we are very proud of doing, is value-based analytics. This is one of the intellectual property of Uvosys. What it does is it helps you to measure and monitor your KPIs and how is the performance with regards to people, process, and technology. This is one of the key initiatives what we are bringing in, and there are some insightful activities which have been planned upon. So stay tuned. You will be hearing more about this component going forward. We do not only want to be a support. We want you to become self-sufficient so that you are able to do lot many, let's say, issue solving kind of thing, lot many upgrade activity by yourself. If you feel there are some specific activity which is required to be done by us as far as innovation is concerned, we are more than happy to do partnership with you. In couple of places, we are checking the applicability of, let's say, robotic process automation, which is called as RPA, to do certain mundane tasks like user provisioning, which we might be doing currently manual activity. These are the areas which we feel the RPA can play a good role. Second use case which we are starting to roll out with regards to the testing. So during the testing, during the update part, there is a testing which is happening as a third stage. Many of the components which we are planning to do an automation with the RPA. So these are some of the initiative which you are taking, and it will be coming to you very soon. The last one is about the KPI driven support. So many a time we say we are good, or we are, let's say, we are okay kind of thing, but without the fact work, it is very difficult to say whether we are good or what we are. So what we believe is we are doing a KPI driven support approach. So whenever you raise a ticket with Evosys, and whenever that is getting resolved from our side, you must be getting the last status that how would you like to read this service request and the engagement which you had with the support consultant. And the numbers which you are seeing on the screen, it's a global numbers. So across the globe, all the customers who we have for the managed services, this is the combination of score with regards to the service which you are offering. And we feel proud with these numbers. We want to not only maintain these numbers, but from here on, we want to increase this number. So that is something which is truly in the center of our execution. Service level commitment, that is something which we have always been tracking, taking track of, and we will maintain that particular aspect. We feel value realization is something where we can play a pivotal role as far as your business and system is concerned. This is the area where we are doing a lot of investments, and as I say, it will be coming shortly to you with regards to the new services and the new, let's say, a part which can be benefited for your business. Having said that, as a closing note, in the next 48 hours, once we complete this session, you will be getting the presentation which is currently been presented. So there were certain sections which was about the detailing of it, which were not taken during the presentation, but that are available within the document which will be shared with you, so that you can refer, and if any action is required to be taken, you take it. Along with this, we'll also share the session recording. So in case someone had to, let's say, exit the call, or someone was not able to be a part of this particular call, they can make use of this session recording, which will be shared with them. As we said, some of the percentages and the number, we were not able to take the qualitative feedback from you in this forum. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a feedback form, which will help us to get the feedback from you about enhancing our services, or any feedback which you would like to share back with us. You may want to speak to your project manager, or you can send an email to business@evosysglobal.com for any additional services. It could be the RPA, it could be any other services which you feel is a need of your organization. And to know more about next generation cloud managed services, you may please reach out to your project manager. Today we are sitting onto the finance webinar, which is July 17th. Next week we have 3 webinar planned, which is again for the human resource part, but it's talent management, workforce management and compensation, and some of you might be also joining the payroll part, which is for the UK part. So these are the sessions which are lined up. In case if you're not joined or registered for the rest of the events and would you like to join in, you are feel free to reach out to your project manager, or go to the same invite which has been received to your inbox, and you may register for the rest of the activity. Before I go to the next slide, I would like to take one poll out of it. After having all this information in the discussion which we had, if you can just help us understand whether did you find this webinar useful, or do you think this is something you expected something and you're not able to get that particular aspect of your ask. So this will help us to add and enhance our presentation as well as our overall agenda for it. As I said, it's an exclusive webinar for all of our managed service customers, and this is specially crafted for you. So whatever the feedback which you provide to us, it will definitely help us to enhance our services and the presentation which you are bringing back to you. I will close the poll. Having said that, I will share the results. So we see 96% are feeling that this was useful, and thank you for that. We see 4% of the team members are feeling that they were not able to get what was expected out of this particular webinar, and that would be true. Thank you for being truthful for that. As I said, we'll be sending the feedback form to you, so appreciate if you can provide your let's say suggestion with regards to how we can improve and what is that you are not able to get out of it this particular webinar, so that we can improve and we can add that particular aspect into our next webinar. The last one, we are here to help you. So in case if there are any doubts or if there are any questions, feel free to connect to us. You may connect to the project manager for anything which you would require. You may connect with our business email ID in case if something is there. And with this, if there are any questions, if you have, we will take that particular questions. Considering the time which we have, we got more 6 minutes for this particular session. So in case if someone would like to type the question, they may type the question. Or if you feel that you would like to speak right now in this forum, please raise your hand. So one of our team member will open the line for you and you may ask the question directly to the speaker. Any which ways, we would like to interact with you in this regards. So may I know if there are any questions on this? I don't see any questions as of now into the question chat window. All of them are been answered. But if someone would like to ask any question or would have like to have any conversation, please feel free to raise your hand so that I can unmute you and we can have a conversation. I hope everyone has seen the questions which are getting answered. What we'll do is we'll also share these questions back to you so that in case this could be useful for you as a frequently asked question, and you may make use of this particular items. We got one question. So can you cover the impact analysis section again, please? And Nurul, if I understand correctly, are you referring to the structure that how to read this particular slide? Is that understanding correct, Nurul? Okay, thank you. And thank you for highlighting that particular option. For a fraction of a second, my internet got fluctuated and I was not sure whether I was able to finish that particular aspect. And I'm obliged to complete that section from my side. I'll just so we were over here. So this is a short description. This is the benefit what you get and the impact analysis. The first one is about when we say impact level, that is impact with regards to the users. So what could be the potential impact to users for using these features? If it is low, so it is not a large scale impact and you may just want to do a regular testing instead of a full regression testing. So that is something which you can ignore upon. If it is high, then it needs to be for sure as a part of your regression testing so that you get a same user experience after the update as far as end users are concerned. When you talk about need to enable, so as we said that when Oracle provides the update, there are certain features which are opt-in in nature, where you can have an option of opting in, and there are certain features which are default in nature. So this is what the definition. If it is no, it has been already enabled and ready to use with some of the no configuration. If it is yes, so you have to opt in for that particular feature. So this is the definition of it. The third one is about the configuration part, where we feel that it requires interaction with our team specifically, whether the configuration is needed to use new feature or not. There could be some features which would not require. So user can use the feature by default with no changes needed. And the last one, which has been loved by many of you guys with whom I've interacted in past, the quick win. What is that? We can have a quick win from this update. So when it is yes, it requires a minimal time for both parties to start making use of that feature. And if it is no, it might require a significant time. Again, I would just to clarify that thing. When it is the quick win is no, it doesn't mean that it is not good for your business. It could be good, but it is only about showing that what could be the things which you can pick up at the start, and then probably roll out the rest of the items subsequently. Hope this answers the understandings and helps Nurul, you as well as other team members to understand the impact analysis. For sure, these slides would be shared back to you, so that in case if there are any open questions which are remaining, you are more than open to speak to our support consultant. And thank you for sharing and helping myself as well as other team members to repeat that particular slide. What I would like to do is, at the last, there is a final poll question which would like to have it from you. If you can help us to rate how was the overall experience of today's session. If you felt it was good enough, then you may rate above 3. If you feel it was an average, that was okay, I mean, kind of thing, so then you can go for the 3. And if you feel that there are a lot of improvements which are required, you may go for 1 or 2. So this is the way we have kept the scale of 5, just to understand and see where are we today and how we can improve the overall customer experience for you, so we can provide a better customer experience for the upcoming webinars which we are scheduling. We are getting a good response quite fast. More than 75% have responded. Thank you, appreciate. I'll share the results so that other team members also know it. We got most of them sitting above 3, so that's a positive side, I would say. Still, we would like to make this to the above line and make it more than 80%. But appreciate and thank you so much for joining this particular session. And these are the tough times which we are living in, with a lot of things having with us, and we have to do multitasking over here. And really appreciate you being part of this part. And stay safe, and let's stay connected and carve out the journey together. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day going forward. Thank you. Bye-bye.